everyone, welcome to this edition of the Moss HR Minute. I am Nicole Moss. I'm the co-founder of Moss Consulting HR Services, where we help business owners solve the people and operational challenges shaping today's workplace. On this show, we sit down with leaders, experts, and entrepreneurs to uncover the real issues that business owners face and how to tackle them with modern solutions. Today, I'm joined by John Alvarez, a retirement plan advisor with IMA Retirement, a firm that helps employees design, implement, and manage retirement plans, benefits, and ongoing compliance. John has a deep experience helping small and mid-sized businesses navigate everything from plan design to enrollment to compliance to employee engagement and benefit strategy. They do it all. So here's how this show works. I'm going to ask you, John, 5 questions that business owners are grappling with right now. You're going to have 1 Moss minute to give an answer, so no pressure. That's only 60 seconds in case you weren't sure. And then we're going to break it down together. So are you ready?
I am ready. Thanks,
okay,
Nicole.
let's go. Okay, so John, many small business owners wonder if retirement plans are worth the cost and the administrative burden. From your vantage point, what are the biggest advantages for small or mid-sized businesses to offer retirement benefits? And when does it make sense to start all in 1 Moss minute?
Well, so one of the main things that you want to kind of look for as a business owner is steady cash flow. If your company is flowing steadily with cash and you want to have a better benefit program for your employees, perfect time to look at doing a retirement plan program. A couple different ways to look at it. It's a talent and retention tool, help you acquire and keep your employees. As a business owner, it's a great way to create a little tax advantage savings program for yourself. You can really optimize that as the owner and put away a lot of money for retirement. Financial wellness. You want to have your employees feel that they're prepared for retirement and on the path to retirement, because if they are less concerned about that, they're more attentive at work, a little bit better production, and for career pathing and other things like workers' comp rates, it has some advantages. As far as when to start, as soon as possible. Kind of like the saying about when's the best time to plant a tree 20 years ago, next best time today. So it's never too late, but you want to go ahead and get that thing started.
Okay, awesome. So in your notes, we were talking about 8 to 12 employees. So that's 8 to 12 full-time employees. Is that really about the time?
Yeah. So if you are kind of in a growth mode or starting to kind of begin growing, 8 to 12 employees is probably a good starting point.
Okay.
Mainly because you're starting to look at the differences between something like a SEP IRA or a simple IRA. The 401k just gives you a lot more flexibility in terms of creating a richer benefit program for yourself as a business owner, for your employees, and giving them a lot more flexibility in terms of how much they're able to contribute to their 401k plan.
Perfect. I think that was in 1 Moss minute. Close enough. I'm going to give you the win on that one. I think it was perfect.
Didn't know it was a contest.
It is. Yeah, you got to do it in 1 Moss minute. If you don't hit your minute, I can't tell you. I mean, you'll see.
There's no clock. There's no timer. I don't know.
Steve is gonna like point at you. We'll call that one a win. Okay, so there are many retirement plan options: 401k, SEP IRA, simple IRA. Maybe there's more. You can educate me. And each has trade-offs. How should a business owner decide which plan fits their company best? Is it depending on company size, budget, growth goals? And can you walk us through that in 1 Moss minute?
1 Moss minute. Here we go. So, a lot of it kind of will come down to the complexity of your payroll process, company size, kind of your growth plans. Mm-hmm. And you have everything from state mandated programs in, I think, about 17 states currently that have a mandate for retirement plans. Then you have your SEP IRA, simple IRA, 401k. The IRA programs are a little bit easier to administer, mm-hmm. lower cost, but they have a lot more restrictions. So like a SEP IRA is going to have employee or employer only contributions. So there is a required contribution for all employees who are eligible.
Okay.
There's no employee deferrals, so there's no savings for the employees. A simple IRA allows for employee salary deferrals as well as a required company match, but it doesn't have as much deferral opportunity as a 401k plan. So in terms of the most flexibility, the 401k is the way to go. But in terms of administrative burdens, the IRA program, SEP or simple, are going to be a lot easier to set up and run for a smaller company. But one thing I like to do is kind of think about it as a more strategic approach to the retirement program. So instead of just looking at what works now, try to figure out what's going to work best in 3 to 5 years for your organization. And by doing that, you're going to go ahead and have a much better total rewards program for your employees.
Yep. Love it. Excellent. Question number 3. You're doing very good. Better than most. Not that anyone has ever done bad, but you're doing excellent. Having a retirement plan comes with regulatory requirements, non-discrimination rules, reporting, and fiduciary responsibility. What are the most overlooked risks or compliant pitfalls that small and mid-sized employers face, and how do you advise them to avoid trouble in one Moss Minute?
The regulatory and fiduciary risk is real. There are definitely areas where an employer needs to put some focus into it. Late payroll deposits to the retirement plan, that's a big red flag. Missing or incorrect distribution of annual notices. There are a number of notices that need to go out with a certain time frame required. If they don't go out on a timely manner, that causes some compliance issues. If you have a plan design that fails compliance testing, discrimination testing, then you're going to have money going back to your higher earners. You're going to have corrective contributions, things that are administratively, it's a burden, and B, it's a financial burden.
Yep.
A lot of times, the ERISA bond is not sufficient for a retirement plan. You need to have sufficient coverage of the ERISA bond. These are small things that are checked off, but they are pretty important in terms of creating that fiduciary best practices for your retirement plan program.
Awesome. Perfect. That was definitely within one Moss Minute.
Well, if I have a couple seconds left, I would say that one of the best ways to kind of, be proactive about having a plan to keep it in the rails, if you will, is to engage a good advisory firm that will actually take you through an entire plan governance process, provide fiduciary education, wellness, and education for your employees, and just really, kind of take control or help you take that retirement plan program to the next level.
Yeah. Can we talk about that for a second? Because I think you and I have talked before, and I, from an HR consulting standpoint, have seen the risk, the headache, and the terror, truly. I mean, that comes if you don't have a really good advisory firm.
Mm-hmm.
And I know IMA is, I think, of working with you and learning about you guys is one of the best. You guys seem to be very proactive. And I think for our small to mid-sized business owners out there, you've got to partner with people that you trust and who are going to kind of carry the ball forward. Because, no one's experts in these fields like you are. So can you talk a little bit about what you do with IMA and how you guys are proactive?
Yeah. So our service model is the same for a small startup plan as it is for a 1,000 employee plan with $150 million in plan assets. We want to make sure that from a holistic standpoint, every aspect is considered: plan design, investment performance, investment expense, record keeper expense, vendor expense. We're going to benchmark. We're going to look at everything. We're going to peel everything apart, provide a very transparent look at the plan from a very high level down to any detail that's needed. We like to talk about ourselves as your retirement plan co-pilot, meaning we want to sit side by side with you as we get you to that destination for your retirement plan for your employees. One of the key things that we want to do, though, is to help educate that 401k committee on exactly what their roles and requirements are to run a plan from a fiduciary standpoint, from a plan governance standpoint, and then provide that insight, help with plan design to kind of help them understand how can we optimize this plan for our organization as well as our employees, and really just make it as integral part of the overall employee benefits total rewards program as we can.
Love it. Absolutely perfect. Question number 4. Competing for good employees is harder than ever, and retirement benefits can make a huge difference. I think we all know that. For small to medium-sized businesses, how can retirement plans be used strategically to attract, retain, and reward people without breaking the bank? Sum that up in one Moss Minute.
Here we go. One quick minute. So, the retirement plan strategy does need to, kind of factor in a lot of, pieces of what's important for the business, what's important for your employees. One of the most basic starting points for a 401k would be a safe harbor 401k.
Okay.
It has a required employer match, but it's kind of capped at a certain amount. And what that does is allows the ownership or the executive team to maximize their contributions without failing any of the non-discrimination tests. So it allows for all of the employees to have a really robust retirement plan program with that flexibility. It'll have Roth contributions, pre-tax. So it really does, allow the employees to have the full control over how they invest their money. And there's ways to create a reward program within the 401k that allows you to kind of reward your top performing group or your executive team by creating a plan design that allows for that and is still within compliance. One thing that we like to kind of help employers understand is that it's not a static thing. We want to, again, have that 3 to 5 year look at how this is a strategic part of their overall organizational total rewards program. So, we're helping get that to the next level if we can.
I think it's so important. And it really does help retain employees. And really at a certain point and at a certain employment level, the simple IRA and the SEP IRA could be great to start with. But I think to your point, you have to think 3 to 5 years ahead, because that is quite the transition too, to go from one to a 401k.
Because when you have the IRA program, you have to unwind it. It has to be, stopped on a plan year. And then there's, these participants that have these assets, they need to roll them into, something else. So it can be a little bit of a headache and a little bit of a friction point for the employees. But if you start with the, simple, basic 401k program, that can grow. That can be changed over time to really kind of meet the changing needs of the organization. And one thing I will kind of also add is that, employees value the 401k plan. Mm-hmm. It is the second most important piece of the total rewards program for them behind group medical.
Yep.
And that's, plenty of research shows that. So kind of bridging that gap between the cost for the employer and the benefit for the employee is really the, kind of finding that sweet spot for that employer to roll out a program that fits for their employees.
Awesome. Follow up to that really quick, because there is, for a small and growing company, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's much more affordable recently to bring on a 401k than it has been in years past.
Yeah. So not only is it a little bit more affordable just because of the transparency in pricing for the different record keeping third-party administrators, et cetera, there's some good tax incentives. So any firm that is starting up a plan, there is startup plan tax credits up to $5,000 a year for 3 years, as well as contribution credits for contributions, matching contributions, profit sharing contributions for the employer, up to $1,000 per employee with some caps. So not only is it more affordable just from an overall fee standpoint, there's some incentives from the tax code that allow an employer to really take advantage of some benefits of starting up a plan.
Awesome. And then could IMA, or you at IMA or anyone help? Because there's, in a lot of the places a lot of states, you have to pay half of the medical benefit. And then there's the cost of the 401k. Can you all help them through that kind of balancing or figuring out what they can afford?
Yeah. So, there's a number of ways to have the fees for the 401k plan established. So some of it can be paid by the employer. Some of it can be paid by the plan assets. Mm-hmm. So it just depends on what that need is. There's no regulatory framework says that you have to pay a certain amount of the record keeping fees from the employer. So it's flexible. There's a lot of flexibility there.
Okay.
We can help guide them through which providers have that flexibility. Say, all right, we're going to hard bill for a base fee of a certain amount, then asset base fee for a certain amount. So there's ways to structure it that will meet that employer's needs.
Okay, great. Awesome. Question 5. You're killing it, John. It's one thing to launch a retirement plan. It's another thing to make sure it's used, appreciated, remains compliant as the company grows. What should owners expect in an ongoing management communication with employees and monitoring, and why it matters in 1 Moss Minute?
1 Moss Minute. So really the shorter answer is that when you hire an advisory firm that is dedicated to the corporate retirement plan space, you should expect a lot of support, a lot of transparency in terms of what you're getting. So from regularly scheduled meetings, investment reviews, fee benchmarking, surveys on participant happiness, utilization of the plan. There's a lot of things that we want to take a look at. We also want to make sure that from an annual compliance process that the testing goes smoothly, that there's fiduciary training for the 401k committee, plan design checkups to make sure that the plan is still meeting the needs of the organization as it progresses down the road. Employee communication is another key area that will kind of drive that success of the plan. If the employees are well aware of how the plan is a benefit to them, that there's ongoing touch points to help them understand the plan, then you're going to have higher participation rates and higher satisfaction, as well as just better retirement readiness for your employees. And again, when that happens, you see downline effects of better workers' compensation. Career pathing is a little bit easier. Your group medical can go down if people are retiring on time. So there's a lot of benefits that are not just about the retirement plan that can come from a well-designed retirement plan program.
Perfect. John, thank you so much for joining us on the show and sharing your wisdom with us. Can you tell our viewers what types of businesses do you best serve? When should they reach out to you, and how can they get in touch with you?
Sure thing. And thank you for having me.
Of course.
I appreciate it. Best type of businesses is really any business. We work with everything from manufacturing companies to professional services organizations and everything in between. There's really no type of plan we can't work on. We definitely have a lot of unique solutions depending on your industry, and we can help kind of, create that plan for you. Please reach out at any time. You can find me on LinkedIn, John Alvarez, with IMA Retirement, or you can email me, john.alvarez@imacorp.com.
Awesome. That's great. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Please stay tuned for the next edition of the Moss HR Minute, and be sure to give John a call when you can.
It's fast, it's fun, it's the